Headlights cutting through the night. Southbound out of Lincoln. Red jerseys. Flags in the wind. Car after car. Mile after mile. Wednesday night turns into Thursday morning. No sleep. Just belief. Oklahoma City getting closer and closer. You ever seen a Red Sea travel? Sun starts to rise, and now you see it. Red filling the streets, red in every direction. One car, 10 cars, 1,000 more. They say never won a game. They say pressure weighs heavy. They say Troy can pull the upset. They don't know Nebraska one possession at a time. Hit it. 11:42, yeah, we ready on sight. Go big red, we'll be bringing that fight. Hunky seat turn, get a red, took flight. Peace out now, we on in the sight. Masked in the pain, yeah, he ain't good at core. Sad for a splash, three ball raining for more. Lawrence running point with ice in his veins. Hoiberg locked down, bringing defensive pain. Berg stretch big, pull you out the lane. Jacobson grind, do the dirty work game. Fragger off the bench, bring energy swings. Garcia flying high, ain't finished with wings. This is more.
Feel the red line rise.
Okay, see turn.
See the Huskers fly.
March Madness.
And the time is now.
PBA sound.
Hear the crowd get loud.
No fear, no doubt. No moment too big. Always satisfied, never satisfied. They waited a lifetime. We take it right now. This is Mars.
Feel the red arena rise.
Okay, see turn.
See the Huskers fly.
March Madness.
Yeah, the time is now.
People on song.
This our house now.
Hey,
Mass, separate it up. Hey,
Mass.
let's get it up. Hey,
Hold it,
lock it down. Hey,
Rush wing coming right.
write it down.
Headlights fade. Crowd roars. One possession at a time. Not satisfied. History changed.
Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Zarbernicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. The Huskers are dancing. March 16th. We are 2 days away from taking over Oklahoma City, PBA South. Huskers draw a 4 seed and will face the 13 seed Troy Trojans in the big dance.
Let the madness begin, boys. Here we go. It's all this. Is all we're waiting for. It comes down to this: half marathon on the game.
Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot
Yeah.
about that.
The bet
Yep.
is if the Huskers won a tournament game entering this year. Actually, I think we made the bet after the BYU exhibition game officially. Dak, if the Huskers win a tournament game, then I have to run a half marathon. If the Huskers don't, Dak has to. Right now, with us being favored to win, it's looking like I may be doing that. But that
Have you
is
started
what's on the
training?
line.
Are we doing the halvesy or are you doing the Lincoln half? What
Won't be this spring.
No.
I don't want to go do it somewhere else. So
okay.
do a
We
different
can go
one,
on the
but-
road. Road
But-
podcast.
make Dak travel somewhere and watch
Who
me.
would have thought you have a half marathon on Troy money line? That's a hell of a bet, Hunter.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we know where all of our away games are next year? Can we find a half marathon in the same town as
There we go. I like that idea.
Sioux
Oh.
Falls.
Sioux Falls
Let's
and
see. Michigan State, September 26th. Indiana, October 10th.
Oregon
I
is where
imagine-
I'm thinking about going. So that may happen. But yeah, that's what's on the line from a betting perspective. Here, a lot to get through since the last time we've been on. It's been another few weeks. I believe we last had a podcast after Iowa stormed the court in Iowa City. And since then, things have been, I don't want to say
Okay.
but they haven't been great, but they haven't been horrible.
No.
We have maybe come down to earth a little bit as far as the 20-0 start and, even getting up to that 1 seed line. I think we were pretty much locking ourselves into a 3 seed there for a while. And then after losing to Purdue in the Big Ten tournament, we are now a 4 seed in the tournament, which, may have worked better for us with the matchup that we got against Troy. I think you can argue, just stylistically and who we're playing, whether it's better to be a 3 or a 4 seed there. But we did bounce back, beat Iowa at home in overtime, almost blew that game away there on March 8th. And then the 20-point loss to UCLA, but also a 15-point win against USC out there, and then taking care of business against Maryland and Penn State. Are you guys concerned at all with how our team is looking just from an eye test standpoint, right? Obviously, we can get into details and specifics, but just from an eye test, are you concerned with how the season ended?
It's tough to shake the Purdue loss in the Big Ten tournament. That was probably the ugliest game we've played all year. Admittedly, I did not stay up and watch the whole UCLA game. It started at 10:20 at night. I watched the first 10 minutes and I was like, I am not stayed up for this. There's no way.
I stayed up for it. I wish I didn't.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't concerned. We've lost 6 of our last 12, right? We're 500. Now you look at it, it's Purdue twice, who is, again, preseason ranked number 1, carved up the Big Ten in the Big Ten tournament. So they were Big Ten champions. UCLA got really hot at the end. They also were surprisingly doing well. And then Michigan and Illinois, and the teams we're losing to, they aren't bad teams. And we outside of the UCLA loss and then Purdue, we again weren't getting killed. So I think I'm fine, but I would be lying if I said I was totally comfortable with where we're at.
Yeah, I'm definitely not like freaking out over it because I think Purdue is just at the absolute worst matchup Nebraska could have. They just, especially Braden Smith, he just dissected the whole Nebraska defense that
We're
whole
bad
game.
against bigs, and then when you have bigs and 2 incredible, not incredible, but 2 really good guards, it's tough.
I think they truly are probably the worst matchup in the whole nation for Nebraska and Purdue. So I'm not too worried about that just because those big guys. But then that Iowa game, I thought they looked great that whole game until the end there that when they blew that lead there, I'm like, oh shit, we are done. This is season over here. But coming out of that, I guess coming out with the win, I'm not too worried about that UCLA game. I said going into the LA trip, you're gonna lose one of those two, and I'd be happy. So it's definitely not how you won the end of the year, but I guess to come out with the 4 seed, you got to be happy. But it's definitely not how you want to go in the tournament.
Yeah, I think Austin, to your point on the teams we've lost to, I mean, you can definitely look at that angle from an optimistic standpoint and say, yeah, these teams are better. We just hadn't quite got to them yet in our schedule. We actually beat a couple of them early on. Wisconsin, for example, killed them early on the year before they got hot, and then got Illinois on the road. So you can just argue that that's part of it, and that's part of the Big Ten.
3 of the 5 teams could be in the Sweet 16.
Correct. The flip side of that, and this is maybe the concern of how the season's ended, is that you wonder if teams have figured out how to. I'm going to go both sides of the ball. First, offensively, have they figured out how to defend us and really take away what we're trying to do? And what of our adjustments and our tweaks have been to our system and our sets that we're doing? Specifically when we went to Iowa City, I mean, Iowa locked us down, and I mean, really just physical with us. Did a good job of getting us off the line. Sanford couldn't ever get going. Mass has not been shooting it great.
And Marcus Lawrence has been in a little bit.
Marcus Lawrence has been in a funk.
He missed those.
Is that a product of these players not playing as good in the system, or is it just a product that we're playing teams that are probably a little bit better than us?
Probably a little bit of both.
I would say better, probably a little bit of both, and you could argue both sides of it, and you can make it a concern if you want to make it a concern, or you can say nope, like we're a 4 seed, and we're going to go into the tournament with the team that we've had all year, and we like our chances against Troy. So I do think that's when you hear people say, I don't know, we've been in kind of a slump. Yeah, like I do think teams have figured us out on that side of the ball. On the flip side, our defense and the scheme that Nate Lenzer runs and the force and trap baseline, I'll argue, like you guys said, we're not good against posts. Actually, we do very well against players, but when they rebound, and athleticism is what beats us. Yes. So like we do defend low post players well, and the scheme that we do has been exploited a little bit here and there. But there's not a one size fits all for that. And I do think that our scheme is hard to prepare for too when you're playing in a tournament setting like this too. So like I do think that works to our advantage. I just think it's a little bit of product, like we're all on film, right? Everything's out there. I think we are a team that doesn't have a lot of margin for error. And if shots aren't going down as much as they were, or they're getting contested a little more, or we're missing one rotation or one offensive rebound. Offensive rebounding has been a little bit of a bugaboo for us in the last few games. Like those things can cost you, obviously, games here late in the year, but also a win in the tournament. So I do think there's reason to be concerned. We'll talk about Troy here in a second. There's some things that they have shown this year that they are better at than others too. So that's I don't know. That's where my head's at going into the tournament. Is like I'm concerned, but I also do believe in what we're trying to do on both ends, and I trust the coaches are equipped to handle what we're going to get, especially this first round game against Troy.
Right. I'd say on the optimistic side, with yes, we are on film, but now we're playing teams that aren't in the Big Ten, and they won't have a week to prepare. You're going to go in, we're going to play Thursday, and then we'll play a team against Saturday who hasn't participated in any Big Ten basketball games, depending on who wins, I guess. But so there's some confidence there where, yeah, we might have been figured out a little bit, but are they going to really be ready for Price curling around for those threes, or have they just gone on film for a day and now they kind of think they know what to do?
I mean, if you're an opposing team, right, you're looking at, you're watching a lot of these more recent games, and you're seeing how teams are guarding us. And I think there's one, the scheme you're trying to do to stop it, but two, you got to have the athleticism and players to defend it as well. Flip side on offense, right? You got to have one, the X's and O's piece, but two, you got to have the athletes and the shooters and the types of players to attack us
But
too. So
it's kind of the same thing of why I always like Jim Boeheim and the Cuse, and I like the Orange going a couple of rounds every year in the tournament because they just did it. Their zone defense was so
it's
weird.
unique.
Right.
It's
And
hard
so
to
I
figure
think-
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll have a little bit of that, and then if we win against Troy, I think we'll play looser. I think we've played a little bit tighter coming down the stretch because the monkey's still there. I think a win against Troy, it'll help.
I mean, if you're physical with Nebraska, we have proven that our team is not built for that. Like, and I guess it also depends on how the refs are gonna ref this game too. If they're letting them hold and push Price the whole time, then Nebraska is pretty screwed because we
But that
need him
means
to
we
go.
can also be physical on defense.
Yeah, which have we proven that we can adjust to that?
I
Iowa
think
game.
our defense a little bit, since it's so schematic based, I would say that gameplay, we're okay. We're okay playing. I mean, a little bit more because we have more scheme. It's not a zone, but it's a lot more forced to a certain spot and trap. And I will say some of our better games are when we're allowed to be physical too. So that's also a point there. But you're right, off ball and a lot of that stuff with Price and how teams are going to defend that. That's going to be a big thing. And Austin, you mentioned the monkey on our back, which we haven't talked about, but it was mentioned in Hoiberg's press conference here today, and it's going to be a topic of conversation. It already is on national stuff when they preview this game. Is obviously Nebraska not winning a tournament game ever in its history. So, one, I guess I want to ask you guys, is that a factor with this team? And two, how do you deal with it?
Great question. Yes, it is a factor. There's no way that the pressure's not being felt. I mean, you just have to approach it. I mean, in theory, you've been dealing with it all season, so I feel like you continue to approach it the same way. But I think it helps that we kind of got shellacked a little bit by Purdue. Maybe, I don't know. You obviously you prefer going in hot, but it's a long time off to just chew on it. Basically, I mean, you had one game in the middle there. I have no idea. I don't know.
I think it's a huge factor.
It's going to be a soft home crowd. I'm putting money right now. It's going to be really freaking red come 11:40 on Thursday.
I think it's a massive factor. That's all anyone's talking about when you bring up Nebraska is they've never won a tournament game. So they probably have the most pressure out of anyone in the first round to win this game. Like, unless you're 16 versus 1, 16 beats. Anyway, but to get that monkey off the back, like you just said, it'll free up so much of even going into years after this. It just get that monkey out of there. No one ever can bring it up again. And that's and the players in the press conferences have been kind of pushing it off a little bit, but you can tell they know what this means.
See, and that's the question. Do you just address it head on as a coaching staff, as players in conversations? You just say, yeah, we know it's here, doesn't change, or do you try to keep it hush hush and avoid it and deflect it? I mean, that's that. I never know with that kind of stuff. Here's what I'm encouraged with is how that now it's got to go back a couple of months. How we started the year. How many times did we go when we were 5-0, 7-0? This will be the one. Oh my God, there's pressure. We're getting into the top 25 now. Or, okay, we'll probably blow this one. We got into the top 25. Okay, big game on the road against Illinois. Okay, we're going to lose. Nope, we didn't lose that one. How many times did we go through that in our heads up until the point we did lose our first game, where we thought the pressure or call it whatever, the national hype, the attention on a team that was picked to finish, 14th out of 15th, 17th? I don't know where we were at in the Big Ten. We've gone through this year already, not just like this group in past years. Like this year, we've gone through the pressure. Now, it has been a while, and we have been 6-6 in our last 12 games. So is that 6-6 part of in our head going, well, maybe we're not as good as we think we are? And then when the time and situation comes and things do get tight, all of a sudden now we start thinking about it? Or can this team go back to the thought process that it had early on in the year and just I don't care what anybody's saying about how good we're supposed to be or how good we think we are, and just win each possession at a time? And that was Fred's message was, our team's still focused on doing the little things, winning one possession at a time. And I'm like, yeah, we are. You would have hoped that truly was the mindset and not just coach speak, that we would be seeing maybe couple more wins here than what we have. So you hope that that's not gone. It's definitely was there at one point in the year. And that's why I have a little bit of hope that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of talk and pressure, but it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what is going on in the locker room and what you can get through to your players. And if you can get through that to them or not let it get to them, we're going to be in a good spot. We're not going to know if that's a thing. I mean, your general response will be, yeah, of course it's pressure. Well, it's to what extent though? Like, can you not work? Are your players in the right frame of mind heading into that to not let that be a factor?
You know where I have the most faith in this game is in the pressure wise and all that, whatever. I have the most amount of respect for Nate Lenzer and what he's going to do defensively wise. I think that dude can scheme up something so quick. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 days down the road here. So quick that he can defend any team and scheme it right. That's what I mean. And the other good part is we have Hoiberg leading the charge. He was talking about how his last tournament game, whatever, when they lost to A&M, they came in that game, they thought they were going to win because they wanted it more. Well, that just can't happen. Like, Troy wants it just as much as Nebraska. You got to, schematically wise, figure out how to lock them down and rebound. That's 2 things.
How has the betting line moved at all in this game?
I just saw 13.5.
Okay. It opened at 15.5. So I do think you're looking at the bracket, it's probably the most picked upset for 413.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot. I mean, that's just the general consensus for all the reasons that we're saying, right? Like it is. It's going to be one of those. I mean, not to undervalue KU's record or, expectations, but we're probably the most pressured 4 or lower seed as far as what the expectations are for game Right.
1.
And a lot of that still goes back to the brand of people and nationally just filling out a bracket and saying Nebraska's never been here before. Like,
right.
It just part of it. And
yeah,
that's why you just hope that, and you want to believe that this team is, I mean, especially like Dax, you said with Lesnar and then like Fred, the scheme and the system and the styles that we're doing are going to outweigh the emotional part of it. And, I hope we learned from our last game, and that's what has to get you feeling good going into Troy. Real quick before diving into them, Austin, you mentioned the red out crowd. Austin's talked before, he's going down. I'm going down. Dak's not a fan. He's not going down. It's going to be a pretty wild weekend. I mean, hopefully it lasts more than one day. Playing that first game or I guess second game at 11:40, first game in OKC against Troy. I know getting tickets was nuts. The fake TV time slot that still happened to be in.
Yeah, that was some BS.
So it was okay. Session. But I guess I don't know what else to say besides, I mean, I think everybody expected to be pretty awesome and crazy. And I mean, I think we can all name several people that we know that are going.
Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty red down there.
Yeah. So.
I mean, honestly, they win this first game, it's all gravy at that point, right? You won't be as mad if they lose to Vanderbilt or whoever they play after that.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it all just comes down to this.
And that, and that goes back a little bit to our I think we talked about this. I don't know if it was last pod or a few before. Like, what is the expectation? What should we be doing? Well, guess what? We are a higher seed than Vanderbilt. Like, in theory, right? We should win. And yeah, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. One, for the season that we've had and some of the wins that we've had, yeah, it'd be well deserved to get to the Sweet 16 or further based on what we've done. To get the monkey off our back, yeah, we just need to get that first game. And I think that'll actually help our focus for the first game. Whereas, think if we've won a couple of tournament games in the last 10 years, right? You're going into this game, you probably can overlook someone like Troy and looking on to the second week. So I think we'll be pretty locked into this first game because we know that, we got to get this first win. And then, like you said, Austin, we might play really loose, which could be good or bad given what Vanderbilt's got.
Yeah, I'm telling myself, because obviously there's part of me that's just terrified that we're just gonna go down there, we're just gonna be sad Husker fans. And the camera's just gonna cut to us and we're all gonna be, hands on our head, looking down. But I'm telling myself if this was, week 4 of the season and we're playing South Alabama, I'm not worried. And Troy was only 1 game better. South Alabama was the second best team in the Troy's conference. Okay. Troy's good, but like if I saw Troy early in the season, I'd be like, that's a win. So that's what I'm telling myself.
Yep, let's preview Troy here a little bit. So what I'm pulling up here, if you're watching on YouTube, I do help coach high school basketball, so I use the scouting template that we have there and started watching a little bit of Troy the last couple of days.
Wow.
And so I've put some player stuff out there to see what they had. I watched, I think, 2 games start to finish. Here's my initial takes on them. They're definitely scary, but I think that we have the better players. We have multiple better players than they do. They play a style that is very scrappy and they win a lot of loose balls. They're a really good offensive rebounding team. They're not super tall, but they have like sneaky length. They will run in transition and they want to shoot a lot of threes, but they're okay playing slow as well. I don't know if you saw our point total, but it's one of the lowest out there of all the round of 64s. So I think they're scary, but I don't think it's a bad matchup for us. I also don't think it's a phenomenal matchup for us, but because they do some things that really scare you. And if they execute their stuff well, what they have coming in against our defense, they have the ability to score a lot of points. Where I think that we could be at a big advantage here, and this is I really love the over in our game. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of trouble scoring against them. Specifically inside, I don't know how they're going to. I don't think they have the athletes and the players to stick with what we try to do offensively. I think that will be difficult for them. So that's my overall take of the Troy Trojans as I've watched them here a couple of games. You guys have anything to add or that you've seen?
Yeah, I haven't watched any Troy Trojans.
I'm just gonna say those 2 redheaded brothers scared the living crap out of me. Those 2 can get hotter than hell, and I can just imagine right now they come in and those 2 both hit like 15
Texas
combined
A&M.
threes. Yeah, that's what scares the living crap. Those 2 can shoot the lights out, and it's the rebounding. Yeah, it's not that I watched a couple of their games. It's not the size they get these rebounds.
Don't say you watch a couple of their games. You've watched highlights
and some of the USC games, but the rebounds they do get, it's like they're just in the right position to grab one. It has nothing to do with their size. They just know how to get to the ball on those rebounds.
To go through some of their players, and like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see a picture of them. But their best 2 players are number 1, Thomas Dow, averages 15 a game, and then number 11, Victor Valdez, averages also 15 a game. They're 2, I'll call them very just methodical type players. Number 11, they're the Valdez kid. He has a style, and they said it on one of the broadcasts, but very similar to Luka, like just very patient. He's not overly quick, but uses his body, his shoulders really well when he drives. He's not a great 3-point shooter. He will shoot them, but what he's best at is getting to the rim. And then Dowd, their other guy, he's kind of their get it and go guy. They want to get him the ball when things are tough. He can score from mid-range. He can score at the rim. He can score from 3. He shoots 34% from 3. shoots about 6 a game. Like he's their go-to guy. He can also get frustrated. The one game I was watching, they were better off without him in for a few minutes because he got frustrated, had a couple of turnovers. So it's not like he's a all Big Ten type caliber player. None of these guys are. But what they try to do, they're pretty good at, and they do some good things. Dak mentioned, I'll go to the two brothers here, Cooper and Kobe Campbell. Cooper's the better one of the two. He's the one that plays point guard, and he's a little bit thicker, stronger. Kobe's a lefty, but they both can shoot the crap out of it. Like Dak said, they're both about 40% three-point shooters. They both shoot 5 a game. They can get hot. They can make a lot in a short amount of time. But that's what they're best at for sure. And then the guy that's been starting recently is Jarrell Bellamy. He's a 6'9", 235-pound senior post player. He's not a three-point shooter. Doesn't want to shoot.
Strong freaking dude.
He's their post. He's a dunker. He hangs around the basket. He's a good rebounder. He's averaging 20.6 points in the last 3 games. So he's been around the boards a lot, and they found him a lot when guys are driving. To go along with him, their other postish player, more of a stretch 4 guy, will shoot a little bit. He has not played the last 6 games due to a knee injury, but the stuff that I've been seeing is pretty probable to play on Thursday. It's Theo Sang. He's 6'9", 225-pound senior as well. He does run the floor really well in transition. He plays more of the high post area. He kind of reminds me of Walter Pitchford, maybe a little more athletic than Walter P, but he does do some good things as well. He's their 3rd leading scorer on the year. And then they bring in 2 other guys here. This Carrington Keel, he's a 6'5", 195-pound sophomore, very good offensive rebounder. That's what he's in for. He will shoot a couple of threes, but he's a very good offensive rebounder for the minutes that he plays. And then number 95, Austin Cross. He's the head coach's kid. Head coach Scott Cross is in his 7th year. Got to be careful not to say Scott Frost. He plays hard. He plays very tough for size. He'll shoot threes when he's in. Let's be real. He's Sam as a freshman. Like that's what he does. He does a lot of those little things. He's not great dribbling the ball. He doesn't do a whole lot. He's obviously their 8th man, 9th man. But he's going to play some too. So that gives you what you're looking at here for the Troy Trojans. I don't usually do this, but I had some time today and this evening and put some stuff together. So
Do you think this will have the most white people at the tip-off of the game of any of the round of 64?
yes,
Yes.
that is correct. It very well could be 9.
It could be.
Very well could be 9. So
Could be
mean,
the most redheads too.
Their rebounding just scares the shooting and their rebounding just scares the crap. I mean, their offensive rebound, like I said, they just get in the right positions. They're not very tall, but that guy you said's averaging 21's game, that dude is a strong freaking dude. And it just scares the crap out of me because Rank is not the most physical dude in the world. And Burke's all right rebounding, but just those two, I feel like it's a horrible matchup with him.
yeah, they shoot a lot of threes. They're not great percentage-wise. They shoot the 38th most threes in the country, but they only make 33.5% of them overall. It's 206th in the country. So they will shoot a lot. And then you mentioned the offensive rebounding. They're 41st in the country on offensive rebounding. They're 65th in assists, 56 in steals. So they opposing teams have not shot it great against them. Opposing teams are only shooting 31.3%, which is 47th in the country. So that's stat wise what they look at. Their turnover percentage is 12.7 forced, so that's a top 100 stat for them as well. It just speaks to their, again, grittiness and scrappiness on the defensive end. I do want to mention too that I was watching them, and this is more of a scheme X's and O's thing, but the 2 games I watched, they ran a matchup zone probably more than half the time. And when you say a zone, your traditional basketball people might think 2-3, 3-2, 1-3-1, something like that. The zone is matchup for a reason, and so it just kind of morphs to how you're going to attack it, which some coaches struggle to attack that offensively. And if you have good ball movement and have the right scheme to go against it, you will end up getting some wide open shots. But it was effective in the 2 games that I watched against them. I'm not sure if they'll run that a lot against us or if they'll try to. Here's the good news with that. If you run something like that, you are not locking on and chasing a guy like Price Sanford. So
Which
if they do run this matchup zone, I would expect us to have some stuff ready to get Sanford some open shots, and that can be how we go on a run. I mean, I really do think if they go to that, it's going to be hard to defend us. But they've ran it, and it was effective against Georgia Southern and Akron and Appalachian State. I mean, it worked well against them. Again, I don't know if that's something they'll run against us, but I didn't want to throw that out there. So
you got to think they're going to break that out, and if it's like a break glass case emergency, like if it sucks for like a minute and a half, they're never going back to it.
Yeah.
Worth noting, the Trojans have played 5 overtime games this year, 4 of which went to double overtime. One of them went to triple overtime against USC early in the year. So they're used to
they've been in a lot of close games, even their wins.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at their schedule, I think the only Power 5 team that I saw on there was USC. But they, they've been in a lot of close games, and you could say that's good or bad when you're looking at the our game. But yeah, I mean, they're 22-11. It's not like they're some of these mid majors. He might get a 30-4 team or something like that. They've got some losses. The one common opponent that we have, which Dak, of course, shared with me, was West Georgia, where they lost by 4 to them. We played them early
in double overtime.
In double overtime. So that is the one. Them and USC are the 2 common opponents there that we have.
We're really worried about a team that lost to West Georgia, who we killed, that doesn't even have a logo on the ESPN app. Like, come on, we're gonna destroy Troy.
Thanks, Dak. Last thing I want to do
that
here for our preview is go through some of our players and things that we've seen or have not seen the past few games. I think halfway through the season, when we were at 20-0, every single player, if you wanted to do a stock ticker on them all, it all had the green arrow pointing up and was exceeding whatever we thought coming into the year. It was above that. Since then, some things have cooled off, maybe because of who we played, how teams have strategized against us, but kind of want to go through what we expect and what we want to see, need to see out of these guys going in. And I don't care where we start. Dak, I'll let you start where you want to go and give me your thoughts.
All right, I'm just going to say this right now. I think Caleb Jacobson has to play a lot in this game. I love when he gets in there because him and Hoiberg together just defend like their ass off when they're running together. I think you play him a lot. You just make those 2 redheads life hell. You can play him right off the bat because I think good things happen when Kale's in the game. And that probably means less minutes for Frager. But, I don't care. That dude's been playing he's been playing terrible lately.
So, Cale Jacobson is where we're starting.
Yeah, Dak wanted to start with Cale. So what? I mean, here's my thoughts on Cale. I agree with what you said. Clearly, Cale has been out of the players that you mentioned, with Frager. I'm even throw Barricade.
He's the only one with the green arrow up right now.
Yeah, and he's been defending well. Offensively, we're getting a lot out of him, which that was his big question mark, I guess, when he started to play. Like, can Cale do anything on offense? And teams were leaving him open. And he's made some shots, 2 big ones at home against Iowa in overtime. Like, that was the Cale Jacobson game. He's finishing around the rim pretty well, and he's you're right. The green arrow's up for Cale. I agree. I think I want him. I do think he needs to play and needs to have a good game. But we've been so limited if we can't get anything out of Frager and can't get anything. Garcia will get to. We can't get anything out of like we're so limited what we have on the offensive end with that 5. So like, yeah, I want Kale to play a lot because he's been playing well, but ideally we don't want to have to play him and Sam both because they can just defend and lock down guards. Now, a strategy is I do think those two can hound the crap out of those guards. And even with our switching defense, they get put on Dowd or Valdez at 2, 6'8", 6'9", because I do think being underneath them and being scrappy is going to cause them it's going to cause them fits. So I do think that defensively it will give us a big advantage having them in just like it has all year. I'm just hoping that we can see more from other guys so it doesn't maybe have to happen that way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say Kale's offense has become unlocked. Correct. At the end of the year, he's had 2 goose eggs in the last 5 games, but the Iowa and UCLA games were both good. But UCLA we got killed, so it's like, well, Iowa we needed him. He came in hot at the end, but yeah, I agree. Offensively, the way our offense has been playing the last couple weeks, we need a better flow offensively, and I don't think that's with him.
I'll jump into Frager because I mentioned him as kind of our other guy here, 6th man off the bench. He did win Big Ten 6th man of the year. Frager's been overall on the year probably our 3rd best scorer. I mean, realistically speaking, it has not been good recently, and he's been the one that I don't think anybody really has an answer for. He is a freshman. He came out the gates, nobody expecting to even see him really play. I don't think anybody even thought about that. And now all of a sudden he's averaging 10, 11, 12 a game, shooting it well, driving, finishing at the rim. I think Fred's even said needing the hype guy, that man kind of back. Unfortunately, I think what's happened, he's kind of lost all that. I'm not going to say confidence, but just the energy that he was playing with early on. And that was a big part of his game. Right now, it's not there. Now, can he get that back? Absolutely. And he still can shoot the ball. I don't think there's a reason. I don't think he's but he can't, when he's in, what he cannot do is turn it over. And he's done that the past few games.
Yeah.
Defensively, obviously, you're going to get more out of Kale. So, you got to make up for that with what you're doing on the offensive end and being that, 3rd option on the court, which he is when he's in with Mast and Price. He's that 3rd option that you're going to get some open drives, some open shots because you're that number 3 option. You got to take it. If you're not taking advantage of that, then you can't play because you're not giving us much on the other end. So that's my thoughts on Frager. I hope he's back because he does. We are so much more on offense, but even defensively, it's not like we take a huge step back. He's not Casey. He's not Casey was an absolute liability at times because of his size. He's not Casey.
Right. But Casey, so yeah, the difference with Frager of the middle of the year was the 3 ball is gone.
Right.
I mean, he's 1 for 8 in the last 3 games, something crazy. 2, wait, never mind. Let me count right here. 2 for 11 in the last 4 games.
Jesus.
He's 5 for 20 in the last 5 games. So I mean, he's maybe returned to normal. Maybe he had that one spark where he was shooting, 3 for 7. It seemed like every other game. And without the 3 ball, maybe people are able to play him a little bit closer. They're not closing out, so he's not getting the driving lanes that he was getting, and so now he's not getting the easy layups at the bucket, and so he's not getting energized. But yeah, he definitely. I don't know if the injury, he just felt like he lost a step and he doesn't feel confident. But I can't even say that because he's had good games. I mean, he had 21 against Maryland and 17 against USC. It's just, I feel like Iowa and Purdue, with the teams with those bigger bodies that you could just put on him, and if the 3's not falling, he gets frazzled, which is what you'd expect a freshman. So
yeah, that's
probably what they're going to do to him. They're going to put one of their 6'8" guys on him and make him shoot the 3s. And if they're not falling, he's going to panic and start driving into bad shots and turning it over.
Yeah, that right there is what you hope doesn't happen. Being a freshman is that he doesn't start panicking and loses the game, which he could. But I just don't think we'll play him long enough to like he's kind of one too. If it starts going south for him, I don't think he's gonna get much playing time. Like
I agree. I think that's where what's happened, and Kale's played more. Like that's just we've done that.
Right. He was playing like 30 minutes a game, and now he's down to 20.
Yes. So, Austin, where you want to go next?
I want to start Jamarcus because Jamarcus also, again, again, the arrow's down. I feel like they're all a little bit lost. Jamarcus almost lost us the Iowa game because he bricked 2 free throws with a second left in the game or whatever it was. But he also no offense from Jamarcus, which we were getting offense. We were getting 10 points, 10 or more points during our 20-game win streak. Even with Michigan and Illinois losses, he still did pretty well. I don't know. Again, he shot 28%, 27%, 12%, 16%, 14%, like just horrible shooting. And so now, I don't know. I think everyone's all messed up because you can't leave Jamarcus out there because he's not giving you any offense and his defense isn't that great. So you're like, well, let's just put Kale in there because at least he has really good defense and his offense is playing about as well as Jamarcus. But then when you need the offense, you bring Jamarcus in, but then he's cold because he's been sitting on the bench. I mean, we pulled Jamarcus at the end of the Iowa game.
Yep.
Because it's just he didn't play like at all in overtime because it's like this dude he's got nothing right now. He's bricking everything. I don't know what to do with Jamarcus, but
it's hard. It's not a good answer for him. I don't know if you guys saw the video of us walking back in the tunnel after the Purdue loss. He was Jamarcus is him and Sam and Rank, he's a senior, and he's a point guard. And I think he wants to be that leader, but his play hasn't really done it. I think a lot of it is shooting, like you said. The one thing with Jamarcus, and outside of Price, he's kind of our mid-range game guy too. When teams are giving that up off of ball screen coverage, right? He's been able to knock some of those shots down earlier in the year, and he's not even getting those to fall anymore. It's hard. He's a tough cookie to figure out. He really is. It is. It's interesting where we're at in the rotations. I guess that's why Fred's getting paid the big bucks. But that video of that tunnel and all that, it gave me a little bit of it didn't make me feel good watching that. We just didn't feel great. Now it looks like we went in, we were having a lot of hooping and hollering and fun at practice the next day, and Jamarcus was shooting on the gun when they got back from Chicago. So that
he needs to.
And that's good. It's just a hard one to figure out.
I mean, at the end of the year, if you exclude Purdue, he shot 4 for how much is that? 4 for 11 on free throws to end the year. Like you can't do that if you're also not hitting your free throws.
Absolutely nothing is falling for him. Free throws, layups, threes, nothing's falling for him.
He had 4 games where he did not hit a single free throw.
Yeah, that's and him. You need him driving and creating on the offense too. So he's just a complete mess right now. Hopefully, he can pull his head out of his ass, and we just get that. we get like the Illinois that time of year Jamarcus back.
When our offense was working, it was when Jamarcus was at least again, obviously, when we were hitting our shots, our offense was working. Actually, a little bit confident behind the 3, and Jamarcus could hit. I don't know. It just opened up the floor, and we haven't had the floor open for the inside game, which then opens up.
It's one of those things that if you're going to take away Price and you're going to take away, some of the rank stuff, when you make the extra pass, guess who it ends up with a lot of times? It's Jamarcus in the corner, right? So I mean, you got to take advantage of that. If that's what the defense is going to give you, okay. That's Frager. Whoever that person is, that needs to be the guy that steps up and is able to make that shot.
But he hasn't hit over 30% in shots since, almost a month ago. His field goal percentage hasn't even touched 30% since almost a month ago. That's so bad.
Okay, you want to touch on Garcia here?
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite player.
No one likes him. I don't think. Here's the thing.
I don't mind him. I really don't.
Here's the thing. He's our 8th man, right? His job is not to come in and do a whole lot. I think that's why people get frustrated with him because he tries to do too much. And I agree. We can get to the point that happens. Now, there's an old line that says there's a reason why you're open. I do think he's the fifth option clear on the court every time. So there is a reason why he's getting open shots. Like, I don't think that's wrong. Now, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like every time he goes in, he's making one of his first two just because I think he is. But after that, then get him out of the game before he tries to do too much. But the past few games, I felt like he actually comes in and they're like, all right, we're going to let this guy shoot. And he buries one. Everybody goes nuts because he's our eighth man and shouldn't be scoring. And then he makes a shot, but then we leave him in and he tries to drive it and turn it over or gets an offensive rebound and throws to the other team. Like, he's in too long. So that's my thought on Garcia.
I don't know why he played so much against Purdue. He for most of the season he's been between that 5 and 10 minute mark, which is fine. But he played 13 minutes against Purdue. I didn't get it if it was just a size thing. But yeah, I agree. That being said, he still has a better shooting percentage than Jamarcus Lawrence has had over the last 5 games. So here's that as you will.
Here's the thing with him: whatever confidence Frager and Lawrence lost, he has gained. I don't know where he gets confidence from.
It's like Space Jam. He like touched the basketball and
I don't think he's ever lacked confidence. I'll just say that. I don't think he. I think he's always had that. And actually, the Illinois game, he went off and scored all the points in a row. Like,
let's not, Jamarcus was good during the Illinois game. Sorry, Jared.
The main thing with him is let's not leave him in long enough to where he can go 0 for 6 because he will keep firing. Like, there's no stopping that guy from shooting.
But he's wide open, man. He's wide open.
I don't think he's a bad 3-point shooter. Now, if he puts on the ground, which he showed against Purdue, horrible. I don't get what happened in the Illinois game. He was a playmaker. I don't know what the hell happened there. But if that guy gets, like you said, 2 shots in, take him out because he's going to start trying to do some crazy stuff, and we don't need that.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Only a few guys. Let's go to Bear K. Kind of saving our best players here for last, but I think Bear K. I always feel like he's I don't call him a goofy player, but he kind of plays spirit free. He can have some moments where everybody gets fired up and goes nuts on. That's what we need a couple of those moments from Bear K. It might be a dump down dunk. It might be a time where he gets a little on him, and because he's done it in the past, where he'll just go and score 1-on-1 because he's physically strong enough to do that. I don't want to see a Bear K 3 attempted.
Nailed it right there.
I think he needs to be a big time rebounder this game, most importantly when he's in, and I think he can do a good job of that. I think our system hides him on defense, which is good. I don't think he moves his feet great, but I think he does a good job at the rim. So I think his job is going to be a lot of times guarding and boxing out that number 10 for them, that post player, and doing a lot of that. So again, I think we need a moment or two from him though to really fire us up, and I think he can do that because he's that type of player.
You think we don't utilize him properly? Ever since he had that triple double, we haven't really been using his passing game. Just kidding. Yeah, I would like to see more than 3 rebounds from him. That's for sure. But I think he's good defensively, and I do think he's smart when he takes his shots. He takes the one dumb 3-pointer every game, but outside of that, he's not forcing anything. Which maybe sometimes I kind of wanted to force it a little bit more to try to draw contact, but he's probably going to miss his free throws. So. He shoots for a 6'10" guy, he shoots no free throws because he does not try to score. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's like just put your arms up and someone's gonna slap you at some point.
Burke, if you're listening to this, for the love of God, just rebound. We don't need anything. I don't want to see you shoot the ball once. And if you do, we know that's not going in. It's in the back rim. You break harder than anyone out there. So quit shooting the ball. Rebound and get those easy layups that you've been getting the last couple games. Do not shoot the ball. And he's another one. If he shoots 2 threes, you got to pull him. He's gone.
I feel like we're maybe. Late shot clock again is one thing. Like if he shoots shot clock, like inside 8 seconds, 7 seconds, like you have to shoot those, right? But yeah, nothing early, please.
He's had 12 games where he shot 0 free throws. That is that is insane that a 6'10" post player has 12 of his 30 games have no free throws.
I feel like he hasn't had like a super dumb 3 in a while where I'm like, oh my God. And he shot like I feel like he's
No,
calmed down on that.
he's only shot 5 threes since the first Purdue loss. So I mean,
Which is
in the
perfect. 5 too many, but
last 8 games, he's shot 5 threes. That's not anything crazy.
no.
Okay. Dak, who do you want to do next?
Let's go Price. This guy, I know he's our best player. But man, does he just get thrown around like a rag doll down low on rebounds. He is, I'm just gonna say, a horrible rebounder. Like I just can't stand him watching him down low. Big guys just throw him around down there. And if he can grab, let's say, 4 to 6 rebounds this game, that's perfect for him. Obviously, he's getting knocked down to shots. You hope he's shown all year, so why wouldn't he? But I just think his rebounding kills us sometimes.
That's funny. I disagree. I think he's really come on as a rebounder. Would you like to guess who he averages 5 rebounds a game? Like, he had 4 against Purdue, 7, 5, 6, 8, 9. I mean, I feel like he's coming around. He does get pushed around. Don't get me wrong. But
I feel like against Iowa and Clough, he got just ragdolled.
Yeah. The first time against Iowa, he got ragdolled. The second time, he got 7 rebounds. Part of that was I just think who's on him and where he's at in the post. I don't think he's someone you want down there banging around for rebounds, but I think his long arms have helped him. I think he's kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Price is who he has been. He's got some length, sneaky length, and that helps him on the defensive end for a lot of reasons. And what we need him to do is be able to be open and make shots, right? And I think games that our offense struggles is when teams are able to not let him get a shot up. And a lot of our actions, if you watch all of our stuff that we have quite a few, are designed for him coming off stuff or being around the ball to either get a shot or set somebody else up for a shot. If teams can take that away, that's when we get very stagnant, and we don't have a Bryce Williams from last year where we can bail us out like shot clock and hit a tough shot. We don't have that. So like we need to be able to get him open. I think we will. Like that's what makes me feel good about offense, especially if they try to go to that matchup zone. But even just watching them, I'm not sure who they're going to stick with Price for the entire 40 minutes. And if we can get him loose a couple early, even if it's off of O boards, that opens stuff up for the rest of our offense. It really does. And then we'll talk about rank. I think the same applies to him early on, getting him a look and making it. But I think that's a big thing. That's who Price is. That's what he does when he is able to get stuff. And a lot of that's not him making shots because he makes them when he gets them open. It's just him getting shots in general, which goes back to scheming and coaching.
Yeah. I do. I will agree. Yeah, defensively, he's on the court because he can shoot the 3. Like, I don't want to make Price this. He is the best player on our team.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have to do everything. And yeah, he's 4th in rebounding, but he's averaging 5 rebounds a game. But he's also putting up 17 points and 3 assists. Like, I'm not really that critical of Price. I think he's doing everything how I would expect him to do it.
He's a very limited player, right? He's not a 3-level scorer, right? He can do some of those things, but
he can cut and hit threes on offense.
Yeah.
And his ability to do those things creates offense for others. And similarly on defense, he's long. And that's about, that's where his skill set is he can disrupt it with his length, but he's not going to be able to physically body people, and he's not going to snag rebounds, but he's going to position himself.
Yes.
Boys, I messed up. Why I turned this into a negative Price talk, I don't know. You rock, Price. You are the reason we're here.
You came out with a strong day. It's like, I'm going to disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I think he's doing okay.
I don't know
But
why
I
it
do
came hard to
agree.
him, but
I do agree. The focus needs to be on getting Price open because that's the key to our offense. Is the
yeah.
space that our threes create. All
Okay,
right.
Rank. I think my story's similar for him. We need Rank to knock down a shot early. I think all of our
Mhm.
games where our offense is really clicking, it's because teams are worried about him getting, even if it's a contested shot, but him making an outside shot from the top of the key. Like that is where one of our strengths are, is when you can pull that big out, whoever's guarding him, and open up that lane. It allows us then to get to the rim, and then you got to pick and choose what you're defending. So I think that's a big piece. I also think it's big if Rank can score down low one-on-one
Yes.
against whoever they decide to put up on. I'm guessing it's going to be Bellamy number 10, but if that 33, I don't know what that
Valdez.
look like. And if they do have that, are they going to decide to double? Okay. If they don't decide to double, then Rank's got to score one-on-one. If they do double, that's going to create open looks for other people. And if we can go extra and find Price even for an open three, like our offense will be good
Man.
that way too. And we've done that at times this year. It's not like people say, well, we don't ranked in the post. If we have the matchup, Fred identifies that and will go into them. There's been games that we just don't, because Rank's not like this huge physical force. He's not, but he can be given the right matchup. I think this could be one of those games that he could physically impose himself inside with his size, and then see what happens, what opens up the rest of the game.
Hunter turned into a little bit of a newspaper boy there from the 20s. Extra. We got to get an extra. You probably didn't notice you said it, but you did.
Nope.
I don't disagree. I think the down low is important. Obviously, hitting the threes, again, we're talking about that spacing. But if you had to guess how many shots Rank shot out within the 3-point arc against Purdue on Friday?
0.
1. He had 1 shot, and he's 6'10".
Yeah.
What do we do? I get it. Purdue's big, but come on. There has to be something down there. That's kind of so I agree that 3-point shot's important hitting it, but I want to see some of those low post moves that I saw that just kind of helps him get in rhythm, keeping those percentages, the shooting percentages up, giving less opportunities for rebounds with those higher percentage close shots. I know the joke is there's memes of Rank Mass missing layups because he does do it a fair amount. But I mean, him and Price are they're the offensive cogs. Like that is our offense. We talk. Oh, go for it, Dak.
No, you got. I just feel like and this probably has to do with the other guys struggling now too. His playmaking and pass. He's a hell of a passer, and I just don't know where that's gone or what's happened. It feels like since Frager and him, he was sick and Frager was out. I can't remember.
Passing. I mean, yeah, I don't think your passing goes away. It's not like he's. I think that's teams are defending us better and taking away our scheme. I don't think you just all of a sudden become a shitty passer. I don't think that's not something that comes and goes. I mean, obviously if you're forcing stuff, but he's not forcing stuff.
No, I think he needs to force more. Like I'd be totally fine with him driving in and shooting 15 shots in the paint this game. Like just do it.
I was talking about his passing, not shooting.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Anyway, just be more physical down low, Rank. That's all I'm saying.
You just never mind. Okay.
Be more physical, Rank.
Old Sammy boy. Man, what a year it's been for him. I think maybe out of anybody, he's had the most consistent year and consistently above expectations on what he's been able to do and accomplish on both ends of the floor, especially his defense and some of the plays that he makes on that end. He's led us in rebounding. I don't think he is currently, but he's one of our top 4 rebounders. He's had some games where he's really went off scoring the ball. He's shooting it very, very well. I think, I saw at one point that someone say he was shooting it like over 50% at over some span. Like he is really come along. as a player.
Right now for the year for shooting, he is 55% for field goal, 40% for three, and 74% free throw. So that free throw line, but yeah.
There you go. I just think that you talk about a glue guy, you know, that metric's been out there and graphics everywhere. Obviously being a coach's kid as well, has really came along as a player here where I don't think many people thought he would be able to. I think this is Sam's chance to go out and have a moment. And, you know, I think it'll be really cool if we can get a win here. And, you know, Sam has a couple of those Sam moments that we all know of, the steals and the breakaways and the scrappy hustle, dive on the floor, loose ball, timeout, extra possession, all of those things that he does for us. Like that's going to be what really gets this crowd just absolutely out of their seats.
Is he everybody's favorite player?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't not like the guy, right? Like, there's nothing that you can.
He doesn't take dumb shots.
No,
he's smart defensively. He doesn't make dumb turnovers. He had a real rough game against Iowa, but he ended up closing it out in overtime. I mean, there's nothing outside of his free throw shooting that you wish was a little bit better, which is surprising as a coach's son that you're shooting 75% for free throws. But he's not going to be a liability. I'm not worried about him.
Right.
He's the perfect player you want in these one and done games because he's going to make the winning play at the end. That's what he's showing. And how many times is he going to have the breakaway steal? Probably 2 or 3 times a game. You know that's coming.
Hope. Last thing I'll say here as we finish out our preview, I think rebounding is probably one of the most important things. Dax brought it up several times too. I do think that's a very big factor here. I think if we win the rebounding battle, we have a good chance at winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's very important that we get off to a strong start. Now, I don't think we need to panic, and I hope we don't panic if we don't. But if we can get out to a strong 8 to 10 point lead in the first 10 minutes of the game, I do think we are going to play a lot looser, and we're going to ride the momentum of the crowd, and it's going to be a very fun game, which I should put an asterisk next to that because that's exactly what happened against Texas A&M a couple years ago, and then we just hit a brick wall and things went south quickly.
Well, I mean, Texas A&M,
they couldn't miss.
Scorcher.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. I kind of did the same little watching them play before we played them and got a scout. They were doing things that they have not shown to do all year. Now, maybe
aren't they like the worst shooting team in the nation?
They say when you have a player like he's only hit 3 3-pointers his entire career and he goes 4 for 5 for his first 5. Like, what the fuck are we?
Yeah, they were like bottom 10 shooting.
I'm saying that with caution, but I do think that if we can get out to a hot start, especially the crowd. Memphis was very, very pro-Nebraska crowd. I mean, the streets were 95% Nebraska fans in Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, OKC is going to just be wild. It's going to be a very fun atmosphere. And even though it's the 11:40 game, it's going to be filled with Husker fans. And if we can get off to a hot start the first 10 minutes of the game, I think that's very important for the outcome. Now, if we don't, I don't think we need to think, we can't win this. I just think we could be in a dogfight. And it could be a 1 or 2 possession game come down the wire. Like I said, I think Troy has the pieces and they do enough good things that they can hang right with this. I think we have the better players, but you don't want to leave it up to shooting. You don't want to say, well, we had a bad shooting night and they shot it well. You don't ever want to leave it up to that. And I don't think it will, but they just do enough things that it makes you just get a little worrisome on how the game could go. So like I said, I'm picking us to win. I actually think we'll probably cover. I do think we, again, have the better players, but you just that pressure factor and just how we've kind of finished the year out gives you a little bit of caution. You don't want to
madness.
You don't want to believe it as a fan.
Yeah. I probably agree. Obviously, I'm taking us to win, but I also think we'll probably cover. Here's how I expect the game to go. I think the first half we're going to be up by 3 at the end of the first half, and then we're going to come out in the second half, and by the end of it, we're going to pull away. win by like 17.
Yeah, and I will say the team echo Austin, what you kind of said too, just to add to my thought. I do think teams that we don't match up well with are your like just physical attacking downhill. I mean, what A&M was,
Purdue.
Iowa plays that way. They're just they just are. Now Iowa's got a lot of white guys too, but just physical as heck. They just drive it at you. I also don't think we do as well when they have a stud, like when teams have a really, really good player, because we're more schematic based. So that person can get lost and get open. I do think stylistically, this team that we play and physically is a good matchup for us defensively and offensively. I just think they're us, but they're not as good as us, right? They're built.
Their guards are a little bit undersized, which helps with our undersized guards as well.
Right. So,
Yeah, I have Nebraska winning 76-61. I think Nebraska comes out hot this game. Mark it down. They're going to be up 20-5 at the under 10 timeout. But
wow.
yeah, I think they come out with the crowd and the energy, and just shoot the lights out. And
I mean, if that happens, I think Hunter has to run a marathon.
If I nailed on the head. No, I think we'll lock those two redheads up, and yeah.
That's
Okay.
why I feel better that one of their core players is a 6'1".
I think Dax. Here's what's funny. Dak, I think you're really hung up on these two redheads. They're their fourth and fifth options in the court. You got to remember, they're not their best players.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm just getting flashbacks to A&M though, them shooting the lights out, and I could see these.
No,
two
I know, but I do think they are good shooters. Don't get me wrong, but I do think there's other focuses on the court that we have to be worried about. It's not just locking those two up, because other guys are going to get a lot of shots. So, like, their best players are not those two players. They're part of it, but they're not. That's not their best two. So just keep that in mind.
We don't have to worry about the other big dudes. We got Burke.
Well, it's not really the big dude. It's a stretch four. It's the guards. So, okay. Well, Austin, we'll see you down in OKC. Dak, we will not.
Nope.
I'll be sure to tune in the women's bubble game, 11 seed.
Is that tomorrow or is that Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I might be tuned into that. Yeah, I probably will, because there'll be nothing else.
I figured you'd go to Durham. Yeah. Watch the women's game.
Even know where they played. I thought maybe
I don't want to go to Oklahoma City.
I have no idea where that game was. I thought maybe the Lemon hosted. I have no idea.
No.
And we'll for sure be back next week. We'll be doing either a
season recap
or a Sweet 16 preview.
Whew.
All right. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.
Headlights cutting through the night. Southbound out of Lincoln. Red jerseys. Flags in the wind. Car after car. Mile after mile. Wednesday night turns into Thursday morning. No sleep. Just belief. Oklahoma City getting closer and closer. You ever seen a Red Sea travel? Sun starts to rise, and now you see it. Red filling the streets, red in every direction. One car, 10 cars, 1,000 more. They say never won a game. They say pressure weighs heavy. They say Troy can pull the upset. They don't know Nebraska one possession at a time. Hit it. 11:42, yeah, we ready on site. Go Big Red, we'll be bringing that fight. Hunky seat turn, get a red, took flight. Peace out now, we on in the sight. Man,
first win ever talk. History heavy every step that we walk. The pressure don't shake what's built in the grind. Big Ten tested, yeah, we built for the time. Fred on the sideline, calm in the storm. Roots are dialed in, every play gets torn. We don't feel weight, we don't carry doubt. You think this doubt? Yeah, well, we'll play it out. Troy stepped in, but they step in red. See a Husker fans got the whole place fed. YouTube sight, now that myth is dead. This peppy ice out, yeah, we paid it red.
No fear, no doubt. No moment too big. Always satisfied, never satisfied. They waited a lifetime. We take it right now.
This is Mars.
Feel the red arena rise.
Focus, he turns.
See the Huskers fly.
March Madness.
Yeah, the time is now.
People on zone.
This our house now.
Yeah.
Hey, Mass, second running up. Hey,
Mass.
let's get it up. Hey,
Hold it.
lock it down. Hey,
Rush wing coming right.
write it down.
Headlights fade, crowd roars. One possession at a time, not satisfied. History changed.